we're back. Good to see you. Happy Wednesday, the first day of April, 2020. I'm Dan Kuntz. This is Wake Up Wenatchee Valley. March 2020 is in the books, and if you pardon the editorializing, good riddance to March. It's gone. It's in the rearview mirror. Hopefully, April will be an easier slog to get through than the month that just came to an end. It was the strangest March in my lifetime. Which for most people, that's the case. Quite a bit to get to today, since it is now April 1st. When we get to the weather forecast, we'll take a look back at the month that was weather-wise, the month of March. We have the climate comparisons for March of 2020 for the Wenatchee Valley in eastern Washington. We'll get to that. We'll also have your long-term forecast for the month of April, and I don't want to be the bearer of bad news. I'll tell you right now, it looks like most of the month of April will be, well, at least temperature-wise, below normal. There, got that out of the way. But the complete weather forecast details are coming up. We'll have the latest news, quite a bit of COVID-19 news from a local perspective, as you might imagine, when we get to that. Eric was able to scrape together some sports. I feel sorry for Eric. Not only is he morning charity, by the way, not only is Eric and his lovely wife Marion self-quarantining, they're doing this, stay home, stay healthy deal like almost all of us should be doing anyway. But he's got no sports to report on, so I feel sorry for Eric. And everything else you're used to. And in the back half of the hour, our very own Jefferson Robbins had a chance to sit down via Skype a couple of days ago, and he had a nice visit with John DeVaney. John is the president of the Washington State Tree Fruit Association. We'll talk about how area orchardists are handling the economic fallout of COVID-19. So Jefferson's interview with John DeVaney will come up in the back half of the show. 37 degrees, overcast skies for the most part. Let's take you around the valley with our Valley View cameras at a couple of minutes after the hour. We'll start off with the cross camera, as we always do. Cross camera is pointed up a little bit as the sun gets the job done. By the way, way off in the distance, you can see the mountains, and you can see Horse Lake Road in that area there. Well, that's open now. Yeah, it's open for, well, you can go there. Now, the Birch Mountain roads are going to be opened up. Horse Lake Road, Birch Mountain Road, they'll be opening up today. So if you want to head up that direction, you can. And good morning to everybody in the Wenatchee Valley, Sunny Slope, and all places who are viewing us on this Wednesday morning. Camera number 2, I have to guess, now that we have more daylight than ever, I have a pretty good idea. That is Hose Landing, Megan? That's Hose Landing, all right, good for me. US 97 Highway 2 is at the bottom of your screen, 97A at the top of your screen, Aniat. Is in your view as well, and of course the mighty Columbia River. It flows pretty fast, the Columbia River. Imagine how fast the Columbia River was before we started damming up the Columbia River. It's not very long, but it has a significant elevation change from its beginnings in southern Canada to where it ends at the Pacific Ocean. It flows at a pretty good clip, even with the dams. I'm, trying to picture what it would have been like without the dams. I don't know. I wasn't around back then. Camera number 3. And we are off to, is that Valley High? It's Valley High. Hi, Valley High. Okay, that was a bad pun. On your way up to Blue Pass. By the way, we're still going to be doing a mountain pass report. Normally we end those at the end of March, but we're going to continue to do them because you're still going to have some winter driving conditions on this first day of April. So we'll have that pass report if you plan on traveling coming up here in just a couple of minutes. Good morning to our friends at Valley High. And camera number 4. Manson Water Tower? Hey, I went 4 for 4. That doesn't happen too often. The Chelan Butte, way off in the distance. Chelan is way off into the distance. Lake Chelan dominating our view there. And again, I just can't get over how light the traffic is everywhere. Of course, our studios are in downtown Wenatchee on Chelan. You step out our door and you look down Chelan. Looking to the north, and normally you can see a sea of headlights and cars heading off to work and school and whatever the case may be, and that's just simply not the case. The vast majority of people are actually doing what they should be doing, which is staying home and practicing physical distancing from everybody else, and hopefully we can flatten that curve and get past this coronavirus pandemic, which has affected, quite frankly, everybody. If your daily life is not affected over the last month, I don't know what to tell you. Oh, yeah. Anyway, so there you go. There's our tour around the valley at 5 minutes after the hour. on this first day of April. Before we get to the weather forecast, let's take a look at the month that was, your 2020 climate comparisons for the month of March. And as you can see, it was just a little bit colder and a little bit drier in the Wenatchee Valley. Nothing dramatically. Our March average temperature, that's a combination of the high and the low, and you put it both together, 42.8 degrees. It was just a little bit below normal than what we normally see. Precipitation, a little bit below normal as well. So it was slightly drier and slightly cooler than what a typical March would be. The exception to that, as you can see, is Omak. Omak was a little bit warmer than the rest of north central Washington. So that's your climate comparisons for March 2020. Now, unfortunately, as I mentioned at the top of the hour, it looks like for, well, not only for the next couple of weeks are we going to see below average temperatures, but the latest outlook for April is showing below average temperatures, well, almost for the entire month of April. Obviously, there's going to be some nice days when we see temperatures near or above normal. Normally, the last half of April is when that happens. But overall, when the month comes to an end, our average temperature, they say likely will be below average. In fact, it could be very well below average. As far as precipitation is concerned, it's hit and miss. But they're pretty confident that the entire month of April that is heading our way, we will have cooler than normal temperatures. All right, 6 minutes after the hour. Patriot Plumbing, Heating, and Cooling gives your home a hug. They're also the sponsor of the weather forecast, and let's take a look at it. Still unsettled, still uncooled all week long. All of those temperatures that you see are below normal, both your afternoon highs and your overnight lows. Could see a scattered raindrop or two. No snow for the valley, just it's too, the snow level's too high up for that. So some scattered showers. We'll have some clouds in the morning. We'll have some sun in the afternoon. Eventually by noon or so, we'll have quite a bit of sunshine. But that high of 54 is about 5 or 6 degrees below normal. Point of reference, yesterday's high, by the way, was 54 degrees. Our normal high is right around 59 or 60. Our low last night was 34. Normal overnight low is 38 degrees. So it's a cool temperature. It's a cool forecast. Sunrise this morning was at 6:38. Sunset tonight, 7:31, 12 hours and 53 minutes of daylight on this first day of April. For tonight, an isolated shower possible. Chilly, 30 for the overnight low. Sunshine Thursday, no real wind, but again, 53 below normal for our temperature. Look at the overnight low tomorrow night. It could dip down into the upper 20s. We'll get up to 51 on Friday. Again, lots of sunshine, but that 51 is very cool for this time of the year. With no cloud cover, there's nothing to hold the heat in. So we won't have that blanket to hold the heat in. Friday night's overnight low, right around 30 degrees. We'll take you to the weekend. Saturday, not bad, lots of sunshine. Again, cooler than normal temperatures. All of these are cooler than normal temperatures. 52 for our high. Right around the freezing mark, overnight low on Saturday. Sunday, the clouds will be back. We could see a little bit of light rain, maybe mixed with some light snow very early on Sunday morning. You'll probably be asleep if that happens at all. Eventually, under mostly cloudy skies, we'll climb up that ladder to 55 degrees. Sunshine will be back on Monday and Tuesday. Highs in the upper 50s. But again, all of these temperatures that you see, both your afternoon highs and your overnight lows, below normal. We're in for a cool start for April. Let's take you up to the major mountain passes. Things are better now than they were 24 hours ago. I can guarantee you that. I-90, no problems. No advisories, no restrictions on Snoqualmie Pass. It is snowing lightly. It is not sticking to the roadway. You'll find a little bit of slush here and there, and that's really about it. Not surprisingly, Stevens Pass is the diciest of the passes right now. They do have a traction tire advisory. It is snowing lightly at Stevens Pass. You'll find some compact snow and ice on the roadway. Again, traction tires are advised. And as usually is the case this time of the year, it's right at the summit. On your way up and your way down, you should be good to go. Blue Pass, you're fine. No advisories, no restrictions. It's down the road you go. Forecast for the mountain passes today, just a couple of inches of snow. Most of it is already beginning to dissipate. And then that's it. A little bit of light snow tonight, a little bit of light snow Thursday, light snow Thursday night. No significant snow event expected in the Cascades. If you want to give yourself an extra hour or so before you head over Stevens, not a bad idea. So Stevens Pass has the traction tire advisory. No advisories, no restrictions on Blewett or on Snoqualmie Pass. We'll take a break at 10 minutes after the hour and come back with your Wednesday morning news. You're watching Wake Up Wenatchee Valley on the NCW Life channel.
My name is Lacey Haggerty, and I'm a nurse midwife with Columbia Valley Community Health. I love all aspects of my job because it is a profession that's very committed to empowering women to make decisions in their health care that feel best for them. It's incredibly valuable to me as a midwife that I get to take care of women throughout their whole lifespan. I hope to see you at a future visit because I know you'll love having midwifery care.
You probably won't launch hurricane-force projectiles at your truck bed.
Watch me! Watch me! I got it! Watch me! I got it! Hey! I'm super bad.
But it's nice to know you can. Introducing Carbon Pro. If it can handle a hurricane, it can handle you. Only on the GMC Sierra.
And I'm super bad.
We are back. High clouds and 37 degrees. We'll see sunshine for the most part today. It'll be in the afternoon. Highs will be in the lower 50s. And at 11 minutes after the hour, here are your Wednesday morning headlines. A second Chelan County resident has died from the coronavirus infection, becoming the third such death in the four-county area of north central Washington. Confluence Health says the 85-year-old woman died under hospital care. Her death was preceded by another Wenatchee resident who was 95 years old and an 80-year-old man from Quincy. The Chelan Douglas Health District says all told there have been 21 COVID-19 cases identified in Chelan and Douglas County. Grant County has identified 63 cases. Okanagan so far 3 cases. Governor Jay Inslee said on Monday that despite most people in Washington, they're complying with the stay home, stay healthy order, but his office is still receiving thousands of complaints about violators. People or businesses will receive a letter first if they're not in compliance, according to the governor. If they continue, they'll face fines as well as a suspension of their permits and business licenses. Governor Inslee said if they still don't comply, they could face criminal charges. Attorney General Bob Ferguson says his office is prepared to enforce the governor's orders.
I don't want to have to use the powers of my office to hold accountable those who intentionally violate the governor's emergency orders. But I want to be very clear. If necessary, I will. The reason is simple. Lives literally depend upon it. A couple points I want to add on that. A non-essential business that refuses to close, even after, as the governor mentioned, even after a warning letter, that first step, is endangering public health and committing an unfair labor practice and violating our Consumer Protection Act's prohibition on unfair business practices. We ask you to think about our healthcare professionals who are risking their lives every day on our behalves and the high-risk individuals in our communities. We really appreciate everybody enforcing these orders so we do not have to use those enforcement powers. I do want to add one specific point around something we've received a number of complaints about very specifically, and that is the governor's March 18th emergency 30-day moratorium on evictions. During this emergency, of course, it is critically important that Washingtonians maintain safe and stable housing. My office has received complaints that landlords are attempting to evict tenants in violation of the governor's moratorium. We have, to be specific, received reports that landlords are getting creative in trying to work around that moratorium. We take these allegations very seriously. If a Washingtonian feels that is happening to them, please contact my office. We understand these are tough times for everybody, including landlords. However, putting families on the street during this public health emergency is not right and is certainly not healthy for everyone concerned.
In other news, a lot of events, both major and minor, have been either canceled or postponed in light of the public health crisis. The Washington State Apple Blossom Festival has now become one of them. The administrator, Darcy Christopherson, said yesterday the 101st annual festival with parades, food fairs, and fun times will not take place during its scheduled window of April 23rd to May 3rd. Instead, the festival board is going to try and find new dates, possibly come summer, if health officials give the okay. It'll be the first time Apple Blossom hasn't taken place on schedule since World War II, when it wasn't held at all for a couple of years there. Chelan County PUD is preparing to postpone rate increases that were supposed to go into effect on June 1st. PUD commissioners on Monday asked staff to prepare a resolution to delay increases to residential power, water, wastewater, and wholesale fiber rates until December 1st. Back in February, the commissioners approved rate increases for each of the next 5 years. The first of those in June was supposed to have increased the base power rate from $7.50 to $9.45. It would have been the first residential rate increase in 9 years. Now, in addition to the rate increase postponement, commissioners on April 13th will discuss extending their order of no shutoffs of utility services and the waiving of late fees. That is due to expire on April 27th. All the moves, of course, are a result of the disruption caused by the COVID-19 outbreak. Wenatchee Valley authorities are joining forces to combat the coronavirus pandemic. Tuesday marked the official startup of a joint emergency operations center. It's led by Chelan Douglas Health District and employing resources of both counties, plus the cities of Wenatchee and East Wenatchee, among other things. The center has launched an online information center with news and services about the public health emergency. You can find that clearinghouse at cdeoc.org. Well, the coronavirus emergency has had an unexpected side effect for the Washington apple sales. Yeah. The Tree Fruit Association, the president, John DeVaney, tells our very own Jefferson Robbins that shipments of the state's signature fruit have soared, and the surge may last for quite some time.
3.8 million boxes shipped in just 1 week so far in March. Do you see that kind of success, that kind of demand for the product continuing?
It has continued. This most recent week, our figures for last week just came out this morning, and it was 2.977 million boxes, so down a little bit from a record week the week before when the crisis first hit. And I've talked to a number of shippers who said that largely it's still a high number, but still the slowdown from the week before was because distribution centers didn't have the capacity to accommodate all the trucks that were coming as they tried to refill themselves and move product back out to their stores. This was a big jump in traffic to stores for a variety of products, but fresh fruits and vegetables, including apples and pears, were a priority for a lot of consumers who wanted good food that they could consume at home without a lot of additional prep work for young kids who might not be used to making their own lunches, for example.
And once again, Jefferson's conversation with John DeVaney, the president of the Washington State Tree Fruit Association, will air in its entirety in the back half of this program. Though outdoor recreational opportunities have been severely limited by the state and federal government in recent days, 2 more safe distancing options are available starting today. Chelan County will be reopening Horse Lake Road, which is a very popular access for hikers in the Wenatchee foothills, and also Birch Mountain Road will be reopened above Sunny Slope. The state in the past week, of course, has closed its lands and has banned recreational fishing, while the Okanagan-Wenatchee National Forest last weekend closed their recreational sites. We do have one non-COVID-19 story to pass along to you this morning. A Wenatchee man who spent 18 years in prison for a gang-related drive-by shooting. He's in jail again for alleged drug and firearm offenses. 39-year-old Rafael Lima pled guilty to opening fire on gang members back in 1997. He was 17 years old at the time. He's been out of prison for the last 4 years, but Wenatchee police say they found him early last Thursday in a parked truck in the 400 block of Pearl Street with a loaded .22 pistol and a syringe of suspected heroin. Judge Kristen Ferreira ordered him held in jail Monday on a $50,000 bond. And that's a look at what's making news on this first day of April. The news crew, some working at home, some working here in the studio, will put together a newscast for you to keep you in the loop. We'll air it at 5 o'clock, 6 o'clock, and 10 o'clock. And with a preview of the Wednesday night news, here's the anchor, Grant Olson. Grant seems to have lost his voice. Oh, well. Trust me, we'll have the news. And don't forget, we'd love to hear from you. We try to make it as easy as possible for you, our viewers, to get a hold of us. You can email us directly, news@ncwlife.com. News@ncwlife.com is our email address. You can go to our Facebook page and drop us a line via Facebook Messenger. And if you want to like us while you're there, we'd appreciate that. Or you can go to our website at ncwlife.com, bookmark it. We populate it all the time, so you can get the latest local news via ncwlife.com. And at the top of that page, our homepage, is a Contact Us icon. Click on it, fill out the form, and we'll get it here at the Broadcast Metroplex. Going to take a break at 20 minutes after the hour. Come back with sports, the obscure holiday, today in history, some celebrity birthdays to pass along to you. Mike McNally's got an opinion, he always does, and Jefferson Robbins' conversation with John DeVaney of the Washington State Tree Fruit Association. It's a busy Wednesday. You're watching Wake Up in Wenatchee Valley. We'll be right back.
Hello everyone, my name is Frank Kuntz and I'm the mayor of the city of Wenatchee. Please join me in staying home, staying safe, and staying healthy. This is a crucial time in our region. Please do what's right by your friends and neighbors, stay 6 feet away from each other, and be as safe as you possibly can. This is a really crucial time in our valley, and it's time for all of us to step up, support each other, and be good neighbors. For those of you that are hiking in the foothills, please maintain a safe distance. Enjoy yourself, get great exercise, but also be considerate for those around you. I've had a number of complaints over the last 3 or 4 days of too many hikers in the foothills, people not staying far enough away from each other. So please, let us keep those foothills open for everyone to enjoy, and do your part to stay safe and stay 6 feet away from those that are hiking on the same trail as you. Thank you all for helping us make Wenatchee a great place to live. Stay home, stay healthy, and stay safe.
And we're back at 21 minutes after the hour. What little sports we have begins with this. Despite the Pac-12 shutting down any practices through the end of May, the University of Washington following suit. They'll have no practices at all until at least June 5th. The new Husky football coach, Jimmy Lake, still confident they'll have some kind of spring practice. In a conference call with reporters yesterday, Lake said he thinks the pandemic will run its course and he'll be able to gather his players in about 45 to 60 days. He says if that's the case, Washington will be able to fit in their 15 days allotted for spring practice. If that doesn't happen, Lake still believes having 30 days in August will be enough to prepare his team for the 2020 season. Lake is in his first year of coaching the Huskies. Chris Peterson, of course, stepped down following the end of last season. Seahawks made a couple of moves yesterday. They released veteran tight end Ed Dickson. He's gone. And Tedrick Thompson, a safety. He's been waived. Thompson, a 2017 fourth-round pick out of Colorado, started 6 games last season at free safety, but his season was cut short by a shoulder injury that landed him on injured reserve. Thompson started 10 of 14 games in 2018, took over the starting role after Earl Thomas landed on injured reserve with a leg injury. Seattle added Quandre Diggs mid-season last year and drafted Marquise Blair and Ugo Amadi. That was the top of already having veterans like Bradley McDougall and Lano Hill. Thompson became a victim of simply overcrowding. Dixon, a 10-year NFL veteran who previously played in Baltimore and Carolina, signed with the Seahawks as a free agent in 2018, but unfortunately injuries limited his impact over the last couple of seasons. So yesterday's moves saves Seattle about $5 million in cap space, and there's been speculation that it could be a sign that the Seahawks are working diligently to re-sign DeVaney and Clowney. Clowney, of course, is a free agent, but his asking price of over $20 million a year is scaring off prospective teams. Seahawks quarterback Russell Wilson is tackling the offseason with his usual zeal. He's working out every day. Yesterday, he took to Twitter to show off his new workout partner, his stepson, Future.
Yeah.
Jump in, jump out, jump in, jump out, jump in, jump out. Go.
See it.
Jump in, jump out, 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 jump in, jump out. Yeah! All right, go back. Ready? Get your feet right. Nice one out.
DeVaney said, hi.
Boom, go. Eyes down the middle. Hey, 1. Get up there, get up there, get up there. Back up, back up. Come on. 2. Come on. Come on, hold the ball up, hold the ball up. Come on, get back. 1. Get there. Eyes down the field. Come on, get back. Come on. 3. Come on. Let's go score. One more. Go. Come on, run through. Fast. Go score. Bang. Green 80. Go. Green 80 side. Go. Come on, 1. Eyes downfield. Let us go. Bang. Eyes downfield. Come on, quick. Hands up. Stay tall. Go. Look down there. Look over there. Go.
Ready, set, hi.
Cool. Stay tall. Hands right on the strings. Boom. Do the strings right. Bang. Good. Now step up. Do the same thing. Boom.
Oh, that was...
Maybe like you're throwing that the other night. Come on. Like you're throwing the other night. There you go. Go in firm. Right in the hands. Boom. Up. Yeah.
Kind of cool. Yesterday, we showed you some ideas on what lacrosse players are doing to keep in shape, so they'll be ready to go when the season gets ready to go. This morning, we have a little video from Novak Djokovic, the great tennis player, to find out how he is playing his favorite sport, tennis, in his living room.
Serve a bit stronger? You serve. No, you serve one a bit stronger.
Wow, yeah.
His living room looks almost exactly like mine. One more item of business. Former Wenatchee Apple Sox and current Seattle Mariner pitcher Marco Gonzalez, he's adjusting to not playing baseball right now. He's back home in the Seattle area with his wife Monica and his Bernadoodle Lewis. Gonzalez, of course, is Seattle's player representative in the Players Association, so he was heavily involved in last week's agreement between the MLBPA and Major League Baseball. He says he's all for getting in as much baseball as possible this year to a point. He says he worries of the push to start fast and the season starting in November. He says the impact on starting pitchers, of course, will be most prevalent. Gonzalez thinks teams will go with a 6-man rotation and was glad MLB expanded rosters so pitchers can have a bit of a break. In the meantime, Gonzalez says he and Monica take Lewis for walks in the park, and he continues working out daily with the hopes of baseball will be back as soon as possible, and I certainly agree with that. I miss baseball. And those are just some of the games that people aren't playing on this Wednesday, 27 minutes after the hour. It's April Fool's Day, not going to go there. It's not an obscure holiday. Everybody knows it's April Fool's Day, although nobody feels much like playing jokes nowadays. It's National Sourdough Bread Day. I love sourdough bread. It's National Walking Day. That's really cool. I'm not doing any of those. Today is National 1 Cent Day. There it is, National 1 Cent Day. And I got fun facts about the penny. First of all, it's not actually called a penny. It's called the 1 cent coin. That's the official name. The word penny came from the British. The British had a denomination of the same name called the penny. And after we told King George and the rest of the crew to go take a hike, and the British coins were still legal tender in the early years of this country, and the British thing was the penny, and even though we don't use it anymore, we kind of kept the name. So it's not actually called the penny. It's called a 1 cent coin. It costs the U.S. Mint 1.5 cents to make 1 cent. So the Mint loses about $50 million a year making pennies. The U.S. Mint produces 5 to 10 billion 1 cent coins each year. That accounts for about 2/3 of their total coinage production. There are about 140 billion to 200 billion 1 cent coins out there in circulation. They're not made of copper anymore, of course. During World War II, they needed to keep all the copper that they possibly could for ammunition, and so they changed it to zinc. So if you have a coin from World War II, it's the only coin that will actually stick to a magnet, believe it or not. And they're very rare. They're worth about $100,000 a piece. If you can find a 1943 bronze penny, you got yourself something nice there. Happy 1 cent day. 29 minutes after the hour. Today in history. Both events happened 50 years ago today. Say goodbye to the Seattle Pilots. They're gone. April 1st, 1970. Not an April Fool's joke for Seattle fans. An ownership group headed by Bud Selig, who made millions of dollars selling cars. That ownership group bought the Seattle Pilots for $10.8 million and moved them immediately to Milwaukee. The team became the Brewers. The Pilots, during their 1 year in Seattle in 1969, lost about $1 million. So the Seattle Pilots became the Milwaukee Brewers on this date 50 years ago today. Happy birthday to the AMC Gremlin. You remember the Gremlin? These were pretty cool cars. For a little car, they had quite a bit of kick to them. The first of the AMC Gremlins are released in North America to compete with the foreign imported cars. Eventually, about 670,000 AMC Gremlins were sold between 1970 and when they discontinued it in 1978. There are a lot of car buffs out there, collectors, who love the AMC Gremlin, which made its debut on our shores 50 years ago today. And take a look at this house. 2066 Christ Drive, Los Altos, California. That's where Steve Jobs' mom lived, and it was on this date 44 years ago today, April 1st, 1976. That's Steve, and Ron. Steve Jobs, Steve Wozniak, and Ron Wayne founded Apple Incorporated. Now, Ron Wayne was a little gun-shy. He had been on various failed ventures before, and a couple of weeks after Apple launched, Ron Wayne got cold feet, and he sold his 10% share back to Steve Jobs and Steve Wozniak. He got $800 for his one-third ownership of Apple in 1976. Apple's net income last year, $55.25 billion. Ron Wayne, you should have hung in there, buddy. 31 minutes after the hour. A couple of celebrity birthdays for you. Denise Nickerson. You're going to look at her, you're going to scratch your head. What is that, Denise Nickerson? She played Violet Beauregard in the 1971 film classic Willy Wonka and the Chocolate Factory. You know, the bratty, gum-chewing pain in the rear end. That was Denise Nickerson. That was her big claim to fame. And she did some other work as well. Denise Nickerson was born in the state in 1957. She died last year at the age of 62. I love Willy Wonka and the Chocolate Factory. It's a bizarre movie, though. And, of course, everybody's favorite javelin thrower from Norway has to be Andres Thorkildsen. Andres Thorkildsen. I love this guy. I have a poster of him in my house. He's 38 years old today. Happy birthday, Andreas. He won the Olympic gold medal in the javelin in both 2004 and 2008. There you go. Those are your celebrity birthdays. 32 minutes after the hour. We're going to take a break. Mike McNally's got an opinion. Then we'll come back with Jefferson Robbins and his conversation with John DeVaney of the Washington Tree Fruit Association. You're watching Wake Up Wenatchee Valley on the NCW Live channel.
AC Checker has new owners who put customer service first. When you have to get there on time, call fast, friendly, reliable AC Checker, 663-TAXI. AC Checker has the industry's only on-time or it's free guarantee. Conditions apply. Call AC Checker, 663-TAXI to schedule your cab or schedule online at acchecker.com. Call American Classic Taxi, 663-TAXI. That's 663-8294.
By working together as a community, we can all play a part in promoting children's well-being and strengthening families. April is National Child Abuse Prevention Month. CASA and Together for Youth are dedicated to supporting families and reducing the risk of child abuse and neglect. Join us in keeping kids safe. If you suspect a child is being abused or neglected, please call 1-866-363-4276. In these challenging times, take comfort. Bear Foods is open and ready to help. Take care of your health with our extensive selection of supplements and wellness solutions. Take care of your diet with bulk foods, fresh vegetables, and fruits. Take care of your home with environmentally conscious cleaning supplies and personal care products. We are here to help you take care of everything at Bear Foods, the Good Food Store, conveniently located in downtown Chelan.
Badger Mountain Brewing is proud to announce the grand opening of our new kitchen. Come try out our new menu featuring fabulous steaks, prime rib, gourmet burgers, and seafood grilled up by experienced meat master, Chef Galen Goodman. To complement your mouth-watering meal, Badger Mountain Brewing features 14 in-house crafted beers, an alcohol-free root beer infused with 11 different herbs and spices, 3 different ciders, and a great wine selection. Don't miss out on the best meats and the best brews down at Badger Mountain Brewing, located at 1 Orondo Avenue across the tracks from the Pybus Market.
It's estimated that 1/3 of Americans do not have a financial plan. At D.A. Davidson, their advisors are working to change that because they understand the importance of planning for the future. At D.A. Davidson, they believe in partnering together to build a strategy tailored to your needs. They spend the time and have the knowledge to help keep your financial future on track. Let D.A. Davidson Financial Advisors of Wenatchee put the strength of advice to work for you.
Hey everyone, Fletcher and Amy Ellington here from Live It Up. In the investment world, ROI stands for Return on Investment. Well, how does better health, better wealth, and better relationships sound for ROI? Join us every week right here on NCW Life and learn how to invest in the most important asset, you.
We're going to answer your questions and provide some weekly inspiration so you can create a life that you love. Join us on Live It Up.
Hi, My car's making a funny noise.
Not a problem. We'll take care of you.
Global Car Care's technicians are ASE Master Techs and well-versed in the more refined methods of vehicular diagnostics.
Number 3 piston and rings have a slight loss of compression, down to 108 pounds. Your transmission is slipping. You're gonna need a service.
Looks like you all set.
These guys? They're good.
Oh, and your spare is flat.
Global Car Care, Wenatchee's top shop.
Join us for Street Talk and Other Stuff with Mike Magnotti on the NCW Life channel. This former police sergeant is plugged into not only the world of the streets, he's an actor and connoisseur of the arts. So join Mike and his guests for, well, Street Talk and Other Stuff. Mondays at 10 a.m., Tuesdays and Thursdays at 2 p.m., and Wednesdays at 5:30. It's Street Talk and Other Stuff with Mike Magnotti on the NCW Life channel.
This is Mike Mad Dog Magnotti, and everybody is entitled to my opinion. Now, would you like to know one of the best-kept secrets of our fair community? It's our extensive program of live theater. Of course, now, this isn't a secret for some of us, but for many others in our community, they just aren't aware of this regular schedule of high-quality live theater that's available right here in Wenatchee. The Full Circle Theater Company, relatively a new group, has put on 3 annual shows over the past 3 years. The Mission Creek Players, they've been around for years. They also do an annual live production. Music Theater of Wenatchee, the group I'm generally connected with, they do no less than 3 or 4 shows a year. Check these group out and attend a live theater performance. Trust me, you'll thank me. This is Mike Mad Dog Magnotti, and that's my opinion.
Hey folks, Carrie from Blueberry Hills. A chill is in the air and it's a perfect time for some old-fashioned comfort food like our amazing Eggs Benedict, chicken fried steak, French dips, soups made from scratch, or fruit pies fresh from the oven. The crowds might be gone, but we're still here for you folks. So bring an appetite and a friend to Blueberry Hills in Manson, where you pick, you sit, you eat, and you visit. Open Wednesday through Sunday from 8 to 3. wildaboutberries.com.
How much are you paying for adult, family, or assisted living? Epladolin Retirement and Assisted Living offers 1-bedroom apartments for one affordable price. Their rates are all-inclusive, no nickel or diming or sudden increases, just one set price. You or your loved one will receive good food and excellent care in a relaxed, home-like environment. Stop on by for a tour to see if the Epladolin family is the right choice for you.
Family-owned and operated Epladolin Retirement and Assisted Living in Cashmere. Affordable care.
Doghouse Motorsports just won Best Motorsports Store for the 6th year in a row. Is it the great facility? Is it the fantastic products? Or is it?
I'm Bobby.
And I'm Tabor.
I'm Mike. And I'm Glenn.
Hi, I'm Todd.
I'm Jeff.
And this is the Doghouse Service Team.
Hi, I'm Dee.
And I'm Dwayne.
And I'm Kathy.
Come on in and experience the Doghouse.
Are you in the Doghouse?
You love to help others. You need a solid career. You can have it all with help from Charter College. Our 10-month medical assistant program prepares you to work in healthcare settings like physician offices, rehab centers, and clinics. You'll learn to take patient vitals, assist with exams, administer injections, and maintain medical records. When you're ready to launch a rewarding healthcare career, visit chartercollege.edu because we work to get you to work.
Welcome back. 39 minutes after the hour. The public health emergency has almost every business sector changing the way they have to do business. That does include, of course, the tree fruit industry. Washington Tree Fruit Association President John DeVaney sat down with their very own Jefferson Robbins a couple of days ago to talk about how his organization is weathering the storm.
John DeVaney, president of the Washington State Tree Fruit Association. Thanks a lot for joining us on NCW Live.
Happy to be here, Jefferson. Thank you.
Very good. Coronavirus, COVID-19, is really throwing a wrench into a lot of people's business plans. In terms of your industry, you represent the growers of Washington State. Can you tell us what you're hearing from growers right now? What kind of concerns they might be bringing up about coronavirus?
Well, a lot of concerns that every business and every resident in the state are having right now. First, food and agriculture are considered for remaining open and active during a lot of the stay-at-home orders and the social distancing orders that are coming out of the state, local, and national governments. I think we saw people's recognition of the importance of food when, as soon as they started to hear about the virus, their first response is to run to the grocery stores and clear the shelves. So a lot of our shippers and growers have been under pressure to keep food moving, to refill those distribution centers for our various national grocery store chains so that people can get food when they do venture out to keep their families fed by going to the store. Unfortunately, we can't fix the toilet paper situation, but we can make sure they have apples and pears and soon cherries in the stores as they go out. Our growers and packers are also concerned about the safety of their employees, because to do all of that, we need people, both to pack and pick and grow fruit. And so these shippers and growers are asking a lot of questions about what can they do to balance the desire to keep their employees safe and that responsibility with the responsibilities they have to keep food on the store shelves. And those are hard to figure out, and everyone is doing the very best that they can. And it is a different situation than we're used to dealing with government orders. I've been reminding a lot of my members who are frustrated with the lack of clarity in some cases that we're used to government orders coming down through proposed rulemakings with months of comment and then several months before an order actually takes effect, so you can figure out exactly what it is you need to do to be compliant. In this case, we're talking about a quick response where government is saying, issuing broad orders and then issuing clarifying guidance in the following days. So we are getting that advice from government, but it often comes after the initial response is ordered. What we've been focusing on is a lot of things that our growers and packers already do for food safety reasons. Enhanced hand washing, sanitizing facilities on a regular basis, making sure that if an employee has any symptoms of illness, they know that they shouldn't be reporting for work. They should be taking a sick day. And that is not only important for making sure that no contaminants are in the food supply from any source, but also that in this coronavirus outbreak, that employees are not infecting unintentionally their colleagues and coworkers.
Do you see these steps that are having to be taken in warehouses and that will eventually have to be taken on farms, do you see these steps as raising costs for growers and fruit handlers, raising their expenses on the front end?
Potentially. I think that right now folks are talking less about the cost and about knowing what the responsible thing to do is, how they can meet their responsibilities to supply the public with food while also taking care of their employees. I frankly haven't had a lot of growers or packers complaining about the added cost so much as they want to know what it is they need to do. Cost obviously is a factor, but it is not their first consideration.
Is there a concern that the supply chain for things like protective equipment might be tight? We already see hospitals and health workers struggling to find masks, gloves, sanitary equipment. Is it possible that growers and fruit handling facilities will have the same kind of needs and meet the same kinds of shortages?
It's possible. So far, that has not been an issue as far as I know. We've been putting out that question to members of our industry, and in fact, I've had packers say that they have enough masks in inventory that they've been donating some of their inventory to local hospitals. We have a lot of growers who stock up on those masks for our summer smoke season so that their employees have those masks in place if they're out in orchards when there's smoke around. They haven't needed all of them right now, so in some cases they're donating those to those who have more urgent needs and then are hoping to refill their supply later on. Of course, none of us knows exactly how long these restrictions are going to need to be in place. We have also communicated with the governor's office through various state agencies around the need to make sure that essential industries that do have to stay open will have access to the supplies they need to do so responsibly. But right now, I think the medical first responders have been first in line, as they should be, for those resources.
Well, fruit harvesting, as we know, is a hands-on profession. It's very labor-intensive and requires a lot of seasonal hiring. Do we see a flow of workers being in short supply this year from coronavirus and the pressures that brings?
Potentially. As you know, before the coronavirus hit, we were in an economy that had very low unemployment, which was good news. It was a challenge for agriculture and any employer to find people when they needed them. That has changed significantly over the last few weeks, with a lot of people having been laid off. However, it has not really been apparent in stepped-up applications for agricultural jobs. A lot of folks who are receiving unemployment benefits and sick leave are expecting and hoping to return to their previous employment, so they're not out looking for other alternative employment in the short term. Which means that for agriculture, we're still, at least for the foreseeable future, looking at the worker shortage that we were looking at before the coronavirus arrived here. As a result, a lot of employers are still relying on their temporary foreign guest workers through the H-2A visa program. And that program requires, obviously, travel from, in most cases, Mexico, through consular interviews and crossing the border, which has obviously been subjected to significantly greater restrictions on both contact and travel. The Department of Agriculture has prioritized that in discussions with the State Department. So though we had some initial scary announcements about all visa processing was going to come to a halt, they have clarified that they're going to continue to process visas for foreign guest workers who are needed for critical industries like our agriculture.
The most recent news I saw on that issue was in March 17th when Reuters had a story saying the State Department would only allow returning seasonal workers to enter the United States because of the restrictions on person-to-person interviews, the interview process that would happen in Mexico. To your understanding, that's been alleviated somewhat?
It has largely been alleviated because the State Department has issued an order granting broader emergency authority to grant visa waivers for first-time workers as well. Unless there's a real serious red flag about an employee that they would require further investigation, can waive the visa consular interview requirement for those first-time workers. So that expands the number of potential entering workers who would have to go have a sit-down interview with a consular official from the U.S. Embassy before they came into the U.S. to work. And obviously, they're still going to know exactly who those people are and be able to track them. In most cases, it was a question about how likely were they to adhere to the terms of their visa. A first-time employee would typically be subjected to an interview to verify those facts. They can do some of that remotely and by reviewing the case now. So in these circumstances, they've expanded the authority to waive that requirement.
How crucial is the H-2A visa program to Washington tree fruit agriculture? Is it something that, if it goes away tomorrow, it's a serious blow?
It would be, because we need a lot of workers to pick and grow our crops in our state. This last year, we had about 26,000 agricultural jobs in the state of Washington filled through that H-2A visa program. That's fewer number of actual workers, because in some cases a worker comes on multiple contracts. The estimates are that it's probably under 20,000 actual people coming north to work under that visa program. But that's still a lot of jobs to be filled in central Washington agriculture, largely tree fruit agriculture, if you do not have that workforce. And as I mentioned earlier, not everyone is ready to venture out yet and look for alternate employment. They're still hoping to go back to the jobs they had before this crisis hit.
Well, on a positive note, the crisis hasn't affected the demand for apples in anything except an upward direction. We saw that 3.8 million boxes shipped in just 1 week so far in March. Do you see that kind of success, that kind of demand for the product continuing?
It has continued. This most recent week, our figures for last week just came out this morning, and it was 2.977 million boxes, so down a little bit from a record week the week before when the crisis first hit. And I've talked to a number of shippers who said that largely it's still a high number, but still the slowdown from the week before was because distribution centers didn't have the capacity to accommodate all the trucks that were coming as they tried to refill themselves and move product back out to their stores. This was a big jump in traffic to stores for a variety of products. But fresh fruits and vegetables, including apples and pears, were a priority for a lot of consumers who wanted good food that they could consume at home without a lot of additional prep work for young kids who might not be used to making their own lunches, for example.
A little bit of good news amidst all the pandemonium. So, John DeVaney with the Washington State Tree Fruit Association, thanks an awful lot for joining us today.
Great, thanks. Appreciate it, Jefferson. Appreciate being here.
I'm Jenny Rojanasatian, and this is Guada TV. Every week we will be bringing you a first look at North Central Washington business, tech, and education news. You'll hear from local influencers and innovators who live right here in the Valley. Together, we'll discuss hot topics, current events, and resources that can support your business, our schools, and this community. Join me every week, and let's get inspired.
Club Crow Bar and Grill in Cashmere is your place for famous blues, brews, and barbecue. We are your one-stop bar and grill, serving breakfast, lunch, and dinner 7 days a week. Hi, Justin here, owner of Club Crow Bar and Grill in Cashmere. Looking for a fun night out? Join us at Club Crow. We have live bands to rock the night away, comedy to make you laugh, and if that's not enough, we have poker every Monday and Wednesday night. Club Crow in Cashmere has it all. Check out our Facebook event page for dates and times. Club Crow Bar and Grill in Cashmere, the coolest place in town.
Green Motion e-bikes have rolled into Wenatchee. We've got fun, affordable e-bikes for the whole family. Portable e-bikes that fit right in the trunk of your car. Fat tire mountain bikes plus unique vintage style bikes you won't find anywhere else. Get some exercise with pedal assist or just cruise up to 20 miles per hour with the throttle. Starting under $1,000, Green Motion e-bikes are affordable fun for the whole family. Green Motion e-bikes is located right downtown on the corner of Palouse and Wenatchee Avenue.
This is Caitlin Hedershe, the producer of the NCW Life magazine. Each week, I'm bringing you a look behind the scenes of the faces, places, and events that make North Central Washington the place we call home. Tune in every weekday for an in-depth look at a new topic each week. From local artists in their studios to businesses breaking barriers that might surprise you and everything in between. Join me on the NCW Life magazine right here on the NCW Life channel.
And we are back at 53 minutes after the hour. We have a couple of minutes. I wanted to repeat the top stories on this Wednesday morning. A second Chelan County resident has died from coronavirus infection, becoming the third such death in the four-county North Central Washington area. Confluence Health says the 85-year-old woman died under hospital care. Now, her death was preceded by another Wenatchee resident and an 80-year-old man from Quincy. The Chelan Douglas Health District says all told, there have been 21 COVID-19 cases identified in those two counties. Grant County has identified 63 cases. Okanagan County, so far at the latest count, 3 cases of COVID-19. Governor Jay Inslee said on Monday, despite the fact that many people are complying with the stay home, stay healthy order, his office is still receiving thousands of complaints about violators. People or businesses will receive a letter first if they're not in compliance, according to the governor. If they continue, they're going to face fines as well as the possible suspension of their permits and business licenses. Governor Inslee says if they still don't comply, they could face criminal charges. Attorney General Bob Ferguson said his office is prepared to enforce the governor's orders.
I don't want to have to use the powers of my office to hold accountable those who intentionally violate the governor's emergency orders. But I want to be very clear. If necessary, I will. The reason is simple. Lives literally depend upon it. A couple points I want to add on that. A non-essential business that refuses to close, even after, as the governor mentioned, even after a warning letter, that first step, is endangering public health and committing an unfair labor practice and violating our Consumer Protection Act's prohibition on unfair business practices. We ask you to think about our healthcare professionals who are risking their lives every day on our behalves and the high-risk individuals in our communities. We really appreciate everybody enforcing these orders so we do not have to use those enforcement powers. I do want to add one specific point around something we've received a number of complaints about very specifically, and that is the governor's March 18th emergency 30-day moratorium on evictions. During this emergency, of course, it is critically important that Washingtonians maintain safe and stable housing. My office has received complaints that landlords are attempting to evict tenants in violation of the governor's moratorium. We have, to be specific, received reports that landlords are getting creative in trying to work around that moratorium. We take these allegations very seriously. If a Washingtonian feels that is happening to them, please contact my office. We understand these are tough times for everybody, including landlords, However, putting families on the street during this public health emergency is not right, and is certainly not healthy for everyone concerned.
And of course, a lot of events, both major and minor, have either been postponed or canceled altogether because of the COVID-19 outbreak. And yesterday, we found out that the Washington State Apple Blossom Festival became one of them. Administrator Darcy Christofferson says the 101st Annual Apple Blossom Festival, with parades, food fairs, carnivals, fun times, is not going to take place during its scheduled window of April 23rd to May 3rd. Instead, the festival board is going to try to find new dates, possibly coming up this summer, if health officials give the go-ahead. It's the first time, by the way, that the Apple Blossom Festival has not taken place on schedule since World War II. There were a couple of years during World War II where the festival was canceled altogether. It's just been postponed, not canceled. Hopefully come this summer, we'll still be able to celebrate. 56 minutes after the hour, we're going to take a break and come back with your Wednesday forecast. You're watching Wake Up Wenatchee Valley on the NCW Life channel.
Hey everyone, did you know that the NCW Life channel is North Central Washington's go-to source for news? No matter how you prefer to view your news, NCW Life has you covered. Watch the evening news weeknights on TV, stream it, read it at ncwlife.com, or catch the latest news by following us on Facebook. Stay informed with local news, sports, weather, and shows featuring local people and events. NCW Life, a reflection and a spotlight of the communities we call home.
Oh, that's awesome. Look at that. Yeah.
There he is. Sure wish he was here.
Yeah, no kidding.
Little 4-point. It's a nice kokanee.
Solid fish.
Watch the Northwest Outdoorsman with Richie Herod Saturdays and Sundays at 6 a.m., 9:30 a.m., and 4:30 p.m. on the NCW Life channel. And we are back. Let's do that forecast one more time as March is gone and April is here. And we're looking for a long-term period of cooler and unsettled weather. It's going to happen all the rest of this week, really right into the weekend. In fact, the long-term forecast for the entire month of April is calling for cooler than normal temperatures and precipitation about average. So it looks like April for the entire month. The long-term computer models are saying we're in for a very cool, or cooler than normal anyway, April, and that's certainly indicative of what you see there on the forecast. Clouds this morning, sunshine this afternoon. Can't rule out a stray raindrop. We'll get up to about 54 degrees, 30 for the overnight low tonight. That is below normal. Once again, our normal high for this time of the year is right around 60 degrees. Our normal low is right around 38 degrees. So all of these temperatures that you see below normal across the board. Lots of sunshine Thursday. You can get vitamin D, but you want to pack a jacket if you're going to be outside, because we'll get to 53, which is again below normal. Below freezing for the overnight low Thursday night, only 29 degrees with clear skies. We do it again on Friday, lots of sunshine, but cooler still, only 51 degrees for the afternoon high on Friday. Again, below freezing, the overnight low Friday night. The weekend looks like a mixed bag. Saturday, most of the day we'll see sunshine until late in the afternoon. Early in the evening on Saturday, that's when the next weak wave of disturbances comes through. So mostly sunny for the balance of Saturday, about 52 for the afternoon high, 33 for the overnight low on Saturday night. We wrap up the weekend with quite a bit of sunshine. Could get a little bit of light rain early Sunday morning. Outside of that, lots of clouds. Again, cool for the afternoon high, only 55 degrees, 34 for the overnight low Sunday night. Monday and Tuesday, sunshine returns. Temperatures slightly warmer than we're going to see over the weekend. But again, the long-term forecast, as you see there, all of those temperatures are below normal, and the National Weather Service, with their long-term prognostication for the month of April, thinks that April as a whole will be cooler than normal. They don't really know about precipitation yet. It's kind of a hit and miss kind of thing, but certainly the long-term forecast for April looks to be cooler than normal. That's it for Wake Up Wenatchee Valley. We'll see you tomorrow. Take care. Bye-bye.